Miami, Monaco, Spain, Canadian, Austrian, British, Hungarian, Belgium, Dutch, and now the Italian Grand Prix. Max Verstappen became a history maker this weekend, winning 10 Grand Prix in succession, beating Sebastian Vettel's previous record of 9 from 2013. But with Verstappen breaking yet another record, does this mean Formula One is in its worst place as a fan watching the sport? Join us today on Report Sport, where we take a look at whether anybody is even going to come close in the next few years to challenging Max. Going into the 2023 season, of course Max Verstappen was going to be a favourite to retain his world title. But did anyone predict that it would be by the current margin? After his win in Monza this weekend, Max is leading the World Championship by stunning 153 points over his teammate Checo Perez, who we all know hasn't been anywhere near at his best this year, with rumours circulating about his future at Red Bull. In the Constructors' Championships, the gap is even larger, with Red Bull on an almighty 310 points above their closest competitors Mercedes. Nobody other than Red Bull has won a Grand Prix this year, so is there any point in tuning in anymore? Sainz started on pole at this year's Italian Grand Prix, but was soon hunted by Max Verstappen, who overtook him and went on to finish 6 seconds ahead of his teammate Checo Perez, and a huge 11 seconds in front of Sainz, who managed to hold on to a podium place after a lock-up from Leclerc on the last lap. After the drama of the 2021 season when Max took his first world title, the result has seemed inevitable as each race comes. With Mercedes still being unable to find their form and car setup of previous years, it doesn't seem like anybody is even close to getting to the level that Red Bull are currently showing. Aston Martin has showed promise this year, especially early on, however have petered off a little bit recently, and with McLaren only really coming into play when the weather turns, who do you think is going to be able to challenge Red Bull? A lot of fans say it's the Red Bull's car that sets them so far apart from the rest of the field, and I think they're right, in some ways. However, Max is in a league of his own at the moment. Not even a league, Max Verstappen is on another planet currently. Before he took his title in 2021, he always seemed to have a moment of anger in him, which could lead to collisions or DNFs, or he would just push the car that little bit too much and lead him to lose time, or worse. On the other hand, this year in my opinion is the best Max Verstappen we have seen. Sure, he still has his Max Verstappen quirks, but he's the most controlled, mature, and best version of himself I think we have ever seen. The scary thing about this is he's only 25 years old. Sure, you put Max in a Haas and I'm sure he won't win, or even get a podium, but you can bet he would be leaps and bounds above Magnussen or Hülkenberg, and probably leave them without a seat for any future F1 seasons. But with Max's dominance comes predictability. Love or hate what happened in the 2021 season, my word was it a brilliant watch for us fans. It was like a Hollywood movie, which I'm sure for the purest F1 fans out there would have gotten a 1 out of 10 on Rotten Tomatoes. But it was exciting, exhilarating, all the feelings you should get when watching motor racing. It's almost back to the 2020 season, when you turn your screen on and you see Ham Ver Bot or Ham Bot Ver in the top left hand corner, week in, week out. At least then there was always seemed to be a challenge. You knew the likelihood was that Hamilton would win, but there was always the what if. What if Max could overtake and what if Max could pull it off? But we don't have that this season. Even if Max took a grid penalty and started from the pits, the bookmakers would still have him finishing pole. In my opinion, we're probably going to see an even more dominant Verstappen era than we did with Hamilton's. But there is hope. This year, we've seen Norris, Piastri, Russell, all put in some blinding performances. If Mercedes can raise the bar in terms of their car next year, then they arguably have the strongest lineup from the grid, especially after Hamilton and Russell have this week signed new contracts. Norris and Piastri have shown that McLaren can be up there recently, with both drivers looking that they have the potential to be future world champions. Look at Alex Albon for example. What a season he is having and what a time he's having at Williams. These are all young drivers who can one day challenge Max. But at that moment, that day looks years away. What's your opinion on the current Formula One season and Max's dominance? Do you think anybody is even close to challenging him currently? And if so, when do you think that will be? Thank you for watching Report Sport. Please remember to like and subscribe for future videos.